Hello and welcome to the Let's Talk Fabulous show. I am your host for this week. I am Gloria Grace Rand, and it's summertime and it's a time for fun, right? Well, I know if I was a kid, I'd certainly be having a lot of fun, but as an adult, we don't always have fun. And so today we're going to be talking about how we can make time for fun. And I've got an amazing panel who are waiting in the wings. So let's talk. Hello. Oh, I am so glad that you have joined us today. Welcome everyone who is watching on our fabulous social media sites. And I want to welcome our wonderful panel that we've got today. And yeah, we're going to have some fun. That's what I'm encouraging everybody here, whether you're watching live or on the replay, or you're one of our wonderful panel members, to just think about having some fun today. So without further ado, I'm going to start introducing these fabulous people. So I'm going to go with, let's see, no, this way. There we go. Wait, I can't even, there we go. This person right here who is on my left, yes. Dr. Paulette Williams, who just let everybody know a little bit, who you are and where you're coming from today with that beautiful background.
Good morning, everyone. It's morning here in Hawaii. And although the background is not Hawaii, but it looks like that here anyway. I am a vitality ageless coach, and I work with women over 60. And I truly, truly like to have fun.
Awesome. All right. And let's go over to Laura.
Good morning in Hawaii and afternoon in East Tennessee, which is where I'm coming in from today, the hills of beautiful East Tennessee, kind of behind me there. And I love fun. So this is my kind of conversation. I'm a business coach, and so it's all business, a lot of the time. And but we have to make time for fun.
Absolutely. And right below you is Alan. So we're going to have you introduce yourself.
I'm Alan Klein, and I'm in beautiful San Francisco. A bit foggy this morning, so no sun right now, but I am the world's only jollytologist, so I have to have fun just because of my title. And I'm a former professional speaker, and I'm the author of many, many books, including my first book, The Healing Power of Humor.
All right. Awesome. And last but certainly not least, we've got Marina over there.
Well, I am in sunny Florida, in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, and it's afternoon here. I am a life coach. I have also now added a diploma in clinical hypnotherapy because I wanted to get results faster and easier for my clients. And I've learned, also an author, should add that, but what I have learned is that when we have fun and keep it lighthearted, any session flows much better and much easier, and you get much better results.
All right. Well, wonderful. So we're gonna start off with a cute little video here, and because this is the focus of today. So I want everyone out there to take a look at this question and answer it for yourselves, and then we're going to have our panel do it. All right. So that is the question of the day: is how are you making time for fun? So who would like to start us off a little bit and talk about that? Let's see. Laura, all right, go for it.
I'd be happy to. Hi. I love fun, and it is harder as an adult to fit that into our lives, right? But a habit that I developed as a kid, because I loved to have so much fun, has stuck with me into adulthood and the world of business even. And when I was a kid, I loved to explore. I am an explorer at heart. I mean, give me a cave, give me a unknown path, give me whatever, and I'm going to take that path. And when I was a kid, I would just say to my mom, hey, I'm going wandering. We had this amazing neighborhood. It was on something called a dogwood trail. We have dogwood trees here in Tennessee, and so it was just gorgeous, during the spring, and really every season was gorgeous, if you ask me. So I just go wandering, and when it was time for me to come home, I never went too far for me not to be able to hear Mama's call, and then I would come back home. Well, as you grow up, you don't keep just wandering around the neighborhood, right? So I had to find other ways to get the fun of exploring into my life. And today, in my busy, hectic work life, what I love to explore is the internet. I have more time doing that and creating fun pictures and creating and exploring on the computer. That's my fun.
Very cool. All right.
Right.
Well, I'm similar to Laura because I grew up in the country in Virginia, in a little small town, and we had 15 acres, and I like to wander through the woods. And my favorite thing was to get into the woods and then look up and see the stream of light coming down from the sun. And it was just, I could spend hours and imagining everything. And I imagined that I was going to be coming and living in Hawaii one day. And so it is.
I love that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Alan.
Talking about exploring, I realized that I have been exploring not in the woods, not in Hawaii, but like in my kitchen or walking my dog. And one day I was in my kitchen looking at my rice maker, and I suddenly found there was a face in it. So I keep looking for faces in odd places. So this is a picture of the rice maker, the front of it.
I love that.
And there is a face. So now when I go walking my dog or wherever I am, I look for faces in odd places. So like here's a house I passed recently.
Oh
my gosh. He's even got a mustache.
Mustache even. So I see them now on the sidewalk. I see them, wherever I go. And the odd thing, faces in odd places, is people now they know I collect these. So they send me like a face they see in a bread or an apple or the front of a car, with the two headlights. So at least once a week, somebody sends me a face in an odd place. So it brings me joy and fun, and it kind of keeps me, little childlike, like adventure, looking for new things, and I never know where it's going to happen. So that's fun also.
I love that. Yeah, go ahead, Marina.
Last but not least, again.
Yeah.
For me, my fun is truly when I am able to help someone. And when that happens, it's like a rush that goes through me, and it is the most exciting thing ever. So I am so grateful that I found what I found, and which is what I'm doing now. So that is my greatest fun. However, one must also add other forms of fun. And that's where I need to really, truly improve upon. And I'm working on it, a work in progress.
Absolutely. Well, maybe some of the videos that we have to show today might give you some inspiration. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do Dr. Paulette's and show hers, because I was very intrigued by some of what she does.
Aloha. I am Dr. Paulette, your guide to vibrant living. I'm excited to share with you how I have fun through physical activity. I enjoy pole dancing, and I found that it is a way to have a full workout that challenges you to move parts of your body you never thought that you could. However, if pole dancing is not for you, try Qigong, an ancient Chinese practice that combines breathing with gentle movements. I found that by doing Qigong, I have enhanced my mental clarity and reduced stress. I invite you to find a physical activity that you enjoy and make it a habit. It's all about moving your body.
All right,
Wow.
Dr. Paulette, I want you to talk a little bit about both of those things. And I was trying to get a picture up here of I found one, or I made one on AI, but now I can't figure out how to get my screen share to do. So forget it. We're not going to worry about it this time. So tell me a little bit, because I know when I first heard pole dancing, I went, what? So maybe you could talk about that a little bit.
Well, I have a habit of doing something different for each of my birthdays. And as I get older, it's harder to find something. So I had a group of ladies over and we were talking about things that we're going to be doing in the future. And it was around my birthday, and I said, I'm going to go pole dancing. And this is really. And so 7 of us decided to go pole dancing together. And 3 of us continued on afterwards. So I've been pole dancing now for 2 years, and it's amazing. It's energizing, it's fun. You are truly moving areas of your body that I remember one day they had us to do, come back up on the pole. You're down on the floor and then you bring your legs around the pole. And I looked at it, I said, that's impossible. And that's the thing that I could do. That one I mastered. But I still have difficulty because it's not easy to turn your body upside down. And I always say, I got a lot back there to hold on to. So it's hard to get all of that off the ground. But I'm having fun. And Qigong is something that I started this year. And it's sort of like the opposite of pole dancing. But in a sense, it's similar because you truly have to focus on what you're doing. And it really energizes you, but also stretches you. And I realized sitting in this seat most of the day, every day, I'm very stiff. And with Qigong, I'm beginning to loosen up. And then the energy, I can go in there and feel, oh my gracious, this has been a rough day. And I come out and I'm, oh my God, I have so much energy. So I really love both of them. Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, Dr. Paulette, question. Pole dancing is often associated with like strippers.
Oh.
I wonder if that's like something you might look at later on.
Perhaps not.
A picture of me with red, those high 7-inch heels on. And in order to get them on, I had the whole class to help me. I said, okay, I'm going to sit down. You help me put them on. Then you help me stand up. And then I will just.
Great.
You just struck a pose, huh?
I love it. Listen, I just wanted to show this quick one. Whoops, where'd it go? From one of your steampunk posts says, I look for humor in my failures. Laughing turns them into success. I love that. I think that is such a really good way to look at things. So does anybody have any thoughts about that, about the importance of laughing at our failures? Yeah, go ahead, Laura.
Oh my gosh. So y'all, you may have noticed, did you want me? Okay, yeah. So obviously I've got an oxygen thing going on here, right? And so for me, I've had some health challenges, but I'll tell you what, there's not a one I can't find humor in. It's like, if I can't turn something funny, then it's not a good thing. And so I've just looked all my life for ways to turn something that might have been seen as tragic as funny. There have been times I've been waiting on a diagnosis, and multiple diagnoses possible, right? And they're all bad. There's not a good one there, right? But you look at them and you go, well, I think I'd rather have that cancer than that blood disorder. And I'm okay. That may not sound funny, but it really is. It really is. And then I ended up, guess what? Having neither one. So there you go. Right? It's just how you look at things to me.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I tell you what, let's, I want to show another video right now because this one just is,
Before we do that, can
oh,
I just
okay. Because it was going to be yours, but yeah, go ahead, Alan.
just wait a moment, if you can.
Okay.
So the reason I got into therapeutic humor was because of what some people would say was a tragedy in my life. And my wife had a terminal liver disease when she was 31, and she passed away at 34. So it's a very difficult 3 years. But I had a good sense of humor. She had a good sense of humor. And even though it was very difficult, there was a lot of tears, but there was also a lot of laughter. And after she died, I remember the laughter and how it helped me get through that difficult 3 years. And so I started to study the therapeutic value of humor. And I'll just give you one example of using humor when she was ill. She had a copy of Playgirl magazine with the male nude centerfold in her room, and she said it was on the wall, and she said, "Alan, I really like this picture." She said, "I'm glad you put it on the wall." And I said, "Ellen, this is a hospital. It's a little risque for that." And she said, "Why don't you cover up this part with the leaf from the plant?" And I did that, and things are fine for the first day, fine for the second day, but by the third day, the leaf starts shriveling up. And we, just as you are doing now, we would start to laugh. And after Ellen died, I realized, God, it's not a lot of laughter, but it helped us rise above the situation. It gave us a reprieve. It gave us a different perspective, even for a short while, of what was happening. And so that's when I gave up business, went back to school. I got a master's degree in HUMAN development. And my thesis became The Healing Power of Humor, which was my first book. But, using humor to help us rise above a situation, I totally agree with whoever put that comment in. So I wanted to illustrate that, Gloria, before we moved on.
I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, it's to find humor in when you're dealing with serious situations, it is so important, and so I really am glad. But we're going to lighten things up a little bit because I love this video. So thank you for this. Hold on.
Fun is often described as light-hearted pleasure. In other words, you don't need a trip to the Bahamas. You don't need a trip to Disneyland. All you need is a fun little toy like this one. Friend gave me. It's a yodeling pickle whistle. I'm Alan Klein. I am the world's only jollytologist, and I will be showing you more ways to get more fun in your life real soon.
So as you saw in that video, one of my favorite things is always have a red clown nose around if you want more fun. Quick example, I was on a plane, scheduled on a plane that was 3 hours late, and everyone was really upset, grumpy, and people are getting on the plane. I had an extra one of these, and I gave it to the flight attendant who was at the front door greeting people. And I said, if you feel comfortable, put this on and just see what happens when people enter. And most people would smile and chuckle, but some people would not give up their anger, and they were just and they turn away. They wouldn't even look at the flight attendant with the red clown nose. But this is like an instant way I find in traffic jams. It's an instant way. Put it on, look in the rearview mirror. An instant way of lightening up.
Yeah, that is so
I
good.
want one. I want one of those red noses. I'm going to walk around with it. And I love that.
Yeah, well, you can get it. Any kind of toy store probably has
I'm
it.
Yeah, and I think sometimes once a year, I don't know if they're still doing it, but I know that there's like a fundraiser, and so it like the drugstores would sell them for Red Nose Day.
Right,
So
May 1st, I think it is,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
And the money goes to helping children, I believe, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I tell you what, let's. Does anybody else have any comment on that? Because otherwise, I want to go to maybe Marina's video. If does that sound okay with everybody? All right, I'm gonna
Oh,
go.
yeah.
I'm gonna show hers because I think it'll be a good thing for us to talk about for a little while.
Hi, I am Marina Shakour Haber, and I would like to give you a tip to how you can make more time for fun. You have to reprogram your mind first. So close your eyes and either remember or imagine a time you had amazing fun. Now, make that image bigger, brighter, and bolder. Bring it close up and add some motion. Now, make the sounds even more enticing and the feeling, allow it to radiate throughout your body. And when you think it can't get any bigger or better than that, pull your earlobe twice to anchor this into your subconscious mind. Practice this 3 times a day. That's how you create more fun. And then anytime you need more fun, just pull your earlobe. Have a great time. Bye.
I love that. I love that, Marina.
Have a Burnett.
Yeah.
Great tip. I did it. I got mine anchored.
So tell us a little bit more about that, because I think that's such a unique way to be able to really to make some fun in your day.
Well, what I have learned is that we are really more focused towards the worries, the stress, because it comes natural. Our universe is set, it is a negative universe, as in negative energy, not evil, just negative energy. Therefore, we are pulled more towards the heaviness, the weight, the density. And so you have to consciously create something else. You have to consciously pull yourself out. And this is an NLP technique where you focus on something that is good, that is fun, that is happy, and you make that bigger, bring it closer, and you do the hearing, the feeling. If you want to add the tasting and the smelling, go for it, but this is sufficient. And then by repeating it, we're creating new neural pathways so that we can go there faster and recreate that feeling. And so it's really about reprogramming ourselves, which helps us to then find fun in life versus only the mind seeks the dark and we go to it and, our life is so dark. But this brings light and laughter into our life.
I love that. Yeah. Does anybody else do anything like that, or what do you think about that? Go ahead, Laura.
Yeah, I've done something very similar to that, Marina. A long time ago, I don't even remember how I got connected with this therapist, but he did hypnosis. And he taught me self-hypnosis so that anytime if I felt stressed or whatever, this was how I would alleviate any stress. And he had me come up with a scenario. And so my scenario was that beautiful horse you see behind me. And we're in a field and I'm sitting next to a tree and the horse is right next to me with his nose nuzzling me and sunlight's coming through the leaves and it's just gorgeous and peaceful. And to this, I bet you that was 25, 30 years ago. To this day, I can, in an instant, be with my horse. I mean, it's just like, it is rooted, man. It's not coming in now. It's great.
That's awesome.
Kind of like what you do. And that's similar to what you teach, right?
That's exactly right. And doing that in hypnosis is even more powerful. and I've been doing it with, for example, clients that have either bipolar or depression. And I tell them to laugh when this dark feeling comes up. Start laughing. Just laugh. 5 minutes, look in the mirror, start laughing. because you're forcing the system to change. And it is really helpful. And especially when they're in this dark place, to practice it a few times a day, just start laughing. Put the timer on, and it really changes our whole vibrations.
Yes, there are laughter yoga classes all over this country, actually all over the world. And people just laugh for no reason. I mean, there's no joke telling. I thought maybe can we try it for 30 seconds right now? Ready? 1, 2.
Oh. Oh my goodness.
So, you get the blood rushing, you're getting oxygen in your lungs. I just coughed. I got a little congestion up. And you didn't have, tell a joke, remember a joke. You just laughed. So it's really, thank you for that tip. Yeah, that was really great.
Yeah.
Can I go back one step? Dr. Paulette mentioned a birthday. And one of the ways I've gotten a lot of fun and created a lot of memories is on birthdays. I do several things on birthdays. If I know you and I know it's your birthday and I'm going to see you, I give you a little birthday duck. So I belong to Unity Spiritual Center, and every Sunday they have a birthday cake, and I always give whoever its birthday it is, they get one of these. But the other thing is the other thing I do is if I know it's your birthday, I get on the phone and I sing happy birthday to you. Even
With
if
the
they're
pickle?
not there.
With the pickle yodel?
Pardon me?
With the yodel pickle?
Oh, no, I haven't tried that. That's not a bad idea. I like that.
Just
But anyhow, the other thing I want to tell you about birthdays is I have on my milestone birthdays, at least 3 of them in the last so many years, I've created incredible birthdays for people. On my 60th, I did at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel with one long table, an Alice in Wonderland birthday. And I had characters from Alice in Wonderland. There were pink flamingos on the table because the queen plays croquet with pink flamingos. And it was a high tea, and I had, I don't know, 60 people because it was my 60th birthday. And so it was fabulous. And then for my 75th, I had a disco party. And yes, Dr. Paulette, there was a pole dancing. And yes, I did pole dance, although I did not striptease. So and because it was, I used to go discoing in the 70s. I used to love disco dancing. So I thought for my 75th, I want a disco party. So that's what I did. Excuse me. Last year, I was 85. And so I grew up in New York City and I love Broadway shows. So I created an hour show of Broadway songs that have influenced my life. I hired a nightclub. I hired 3 entertainers, and we had an hour show, and then we had birthday cake and all. And it was Alan's Broadway Birthday Bash.
Very nice.
Great.
This is me as 5 years old, but people still tell me it was the best birthday party they have ever been to.
Nice.
So create a memory for people, for yourself, and celebrate a birthday. People say, hey, I'm getting older. I don't like celebrating my birthday. I celebrate it because I've lived another year on this planet, and I want to celebrate that.
That's how I
Absolutely.
feel. I love it.
Yeah.
Every birthday is let me celebrate because I'm here another year.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
for
it.
sure. Listen, Dr. Paulette, I want to go back to you a little bit and have you share maybe if you have some ideas for, how people can have fun. We did a little laughter yoga, which I think is perfect. But let's say, someone is, maybe you've experienced this. What other ways can people, um, go about their day, and maybe they're just, maybe they wind up on a phone call that, kind of takes them down. How can people shift for their mood and have some fun? What other ways have you
Or
found?
just the opposite of getting a phone call that puts you down. You can call a friend that you haven't heard from in a long time and just start chit chatting with them. And it's amazing. Although they may not be having a good day, you can go and reminisce about times in which that you spent with them and the fun that y'all had while you were together. I also feel that just capturing the moment, if you just be in the moment and pay attention to what's going on. One of the things I like to do now is watch little kids, and they're playing and they're so innocent, but they're energized, they're curious. And that's the other thing, being curious about life, trying to
Yes.
find new things to do and be spontaneous. I've had more fun when someone calls me up and says, let's go wherever. And it's amazing. You might have, oh, I don't really want to go, but just say yes. And it's amazing what we can get into. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, Laura?
Yeah. So, you know, if I'm having a bad moment or whatever, there is one thing that will always change that in a New York minute, and that is music. There's
Yes.
certain music that just elevates me, instantly. And I'm a big, huge Prince fan. And so I can put on any Prince song, and it is impossible for me to feel down when that music starts. I mean, think about a song that lifts you up, right? If it pops on if you hear it, you're like, oh, I love that. You immediately take it out of whatever negative thing you were in, right? So I always have music ready to just pop on in case I need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
other thing
Absolutely.
I do with music, I grew up with Broadway shows. I grew up in New York City. I love Broadway shows, but I'll take a song from a Broadway show and I'll change the lyrics to fit what's happening. Oh, I just burnt the toast, and I'll sing a Broadway song about it. Um, Gloria, one thing, we're about halfway through here, and um, great ideas. I love all these ideas. We haven't talked about why people should have fun. What is some of the
Well, that's
research?
true. Yes. Yes. Thank you
But,
for reminding me. That was one of the things I wanted to ask about. Yeah.
So
Paulette?
I right before the show I went online because I teach this for years, laughter, humor, play, and having fun. But so I knew all the research, but I had to get it back in my head. So I went online and quickly looked at some of the scientific research. So if you like, I can do 2 minutes of that.
Well, how about just give me one thing, give me like one or two of the best things, and then I think Dr. Paulette also had some ideas here
Okay,
too.
so health wise, when you're having fun, it says, and all this is scientifically based research, it lowers depression, it reduces blood pressure and cortisol levels, and decreases stress and anxiety, and enhances self esteem. So
All good
that's
things. Okay.
health.
Yeah.
The other is workplace. People at the workplace and they say, I can't have fun. According to the scientific research, it increases employee attraction, higher commitment, favorable job attitudes, interpersonal trust, and a lower turnover rate. So if people are liking their job and having fun at it, it's
Hmm.
not 8 hours while they're there, the whole, they're,
Yeah.
they're paid to get work done, but interspersed throughout the day, they're happier, they're having more fun, they want to stay there. And so there's less turnover.
I like that. Dr. Paulette, you had some thoughts about this too?
And
Yeah.
that the National Geographic says that having fun is on the same level as getting a good night's sleep. That is
Oh.
something that is truly necessary.
Wow.
It enhances, your physical well-being because you just feel jolly on the inside, which means that you are bringing more joy to the world. And another way is the fact that it is, when you're making connections, it could be something as simple as being in a line, a checkout line, and paying for the person behind you. Just simple acts of kindness can go a long ways in making a difference in someone else's life.
Yeah,
Indeed.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any thoughts on that, Marina? Yeah, go ahead, Marina.
Well, what I find though is that we can say very easily, let's go and have fun, but it's not quite so easy for people to have fun when you're really deep down in the doldrums. So I think, and that's why these techniques to help you slowly to turn that feeling around are important, because I always have found that it's easy to tell someone, just go out and have some fun. But if I cannot see fun, I cannot have fun. So you really have to reverse the thinking, and these little techniques help. The laughter, and again, when you're very depressed, you have to also find out what it is. If it is a clinical depression, it may take time and maybe you're never very happy, but you can definitely, most definitely raise it with certain techniques like the little one of anchoring good feelings, learning to focus on good feelings. Just consciously shift it away from the one place to the other place, versus to say, not this, but that. I'd rather not have this, but see that wonderful thing and turn it around.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I've found is, I don't know if it's necessarily about putting fun in your day, but certainly that way to start making that shift is to start thinking of things to be grateful for. Because I have found that when if I can just start, thinking about, even if it's just, one or two things, just to be grateful for being alive right this moment, or be grateful that I've got an internet connection, or grateful that my wonderful cat is sleeping right now and not bothering me while I'm doing this recording. It's a wonderful thing to be grateful for. And that starts to help, again, to be able to shift your frame of mind, so that then you can start, looking for those things to then go up a little bit more, raise your vibration a little bit more.
Exactly.
So, Gloria, one of the things that, if I may, that I notice about the importance of laughter is that it brings you into the present moment. If you can laugh at something, you're taken away from whatever your worry was about the past, your worry about the future, and you are in that present moment. And when we're in that present moment, we're really being our full self, right? And so, and then we talk about, like, if you're talking to somebody who is in the doldrums and you want to help them out of it, well, obviously helping them laugh, if you can do that, is going to, again, bring them out of that moment, right? And put them in the present again. And the way that I find I can do that almost without fail is through gratitude. You're so spot on. Because if I can talk to someone and say, well, the world isn't ending right now. It's not. Look around you. You have a roof over your head. You have food to eat. You have a wonderful pet or whatever, right? And get them kind of refocused on that. It seems like inevitably we end up laughing.
Yes.
So, gratitude and laughter, to me, they just go hand in hand and put you right back into the present.
I love that.
Yeah,
Paulette?
great.
Yeah.
I want to go backward. Marlene, oh my gracious, I'm messing up your name.
Marina?
and the point that she was making, that there are people that are depressed, and we have all these great ideas that we want them to do, but I think that we have to start with where they are. And something as simple as holding their hand, or even just being with them, just sitting with them, knowing that each day you're going to be there to sit with them, maybe for an hour, maybe nothing, not a word is being said, but they know that you are there. They can feel your presence. They can feel your love, your kindness, your compassion. And maybe you have to do this for a long time before they begin to open up and to share. Because we have great ideas, because we know that there are times we get in the dumps and, we know the things. We can set and we can do all these wonderful things, but they are not there yet. So we have to really see them where they are, meet them where they are, and start there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting. I wanted to have one of our guests that I had invited to the show wasn't able to make it, but she is a grief and transition counselor, and so she actually did record a short little video about how she is able to make time for fun. So I'm gonna show that right now.
Hi, I'm Sheila Clements, and I'm the owner of Transitions Coaching Services. And the topic of fun out here in the middle of the desert in Colorado, and it's Wolford, Marina, National Forest, and it's a beautiful hot day. And I'll just share this with you. So what I want to say is take some time, even if it's just a 2-day weekend, or if you can get away in the middle of the day, in a place that inspires you.
Yeah, as you can see, she was enjoying her vacation, and unfortunately, it was very windy. But her point is that she decided that her and her husband, since they both work from home, that they were able to take a 2-day mini vacation. And sometimes that you do need to take some time for yourself, and well, it's good to be able to try to have fun here, but sometimes you also need to get away a little bit, and maybe it's not even a 2-day, maybe even just get away for a couple hours, maybe go to the movies or something like that, and just to be able to take a little mini break. Yeah, Laura?
Yeah, for me,
yeah.
oh, I'm sorry. So for me, real quick, I can always go to the barn, and what's interesting about it is as soon as my car turns into the drive and goes over those cattle rods, everything is left behind. It's like I'm in another world, transported, and that's what that mini vacation is, right? Transport us away for just an hour, 2 hours, a week if you get it, if you're lucky enough. But whatever, right? Even 5 minutes, just transport, and you can reset that way, right? You can reset everything that way.
Yeah, one of my really quick vacations, 30 minutes, going to the garden, seeing, I was in the garden 2 days ago and there were no gladiolas. Well, suddenly there's 3 gladiolas opening up, or there's a dozen strawberries now to pick, and I don't know if it's fun, but it certainly feeds my soul and brings me joy. One thing I wanted to bring up, we have lots of great ideas and we have to meet people where they're at. So not everything will fit everyone that's listening, because people, what's fun for you may not be fun for me. Taking me to a wrestling match or a boxing match is not fun for me. For somebody else, it might be great fun. So I just wanted the listeners to know that take what fits and leave the rest behind.
Yeah, that's an important point. Oops, I meant to do this, but there we go. Because you have to figure out what is important for you. I have this conversation with actually some other friends of mine not too long ago, and people had lots of different ideas about things that that's fun for them. And in fact, Laura, you mentioned right at the beginning about being on the internet, and creating, and I'm sure some people would be like, no, get me away from the computer. That's my idea of fun. So it really does, you have to figure out what's important for you. And that might take some experimenting and some, trial and error, but keep at it. It's worth it.
Yeah, one thing we haven't mentioned, having fun is real simple, is be around children, young children.
Yeah.
I was at a dinner party last night and there were 2 young children, and I was just watching how much fun they were having with the couch pillows, how much fun they were having with themselves. They were like kind of bending over like this, and the other one had to crawl under them. And you know, as I said before we went on the air, I used to design Captain Kangaroo on television, and so I had to think like a child. How would a child do this? How would a child design this machine that Bunny Rabbit was designing to trick Mr. Green Jeans into giving him carrots? And so I had to think like a child. And my daughter, who is now in her 50s, we have lots of fun together and have had all many years. So last Father's Day, she took me on a fun day, and we went. There was a big Ferris wheel in Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. We went on that. We went on the merry-go-round. We had a fun picnic lunch. So she's not a child anymore, but we do a lot of kind of not childlike things, but fun things together.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
But children, last night again at the dinner table, I don't know how this came up, but the young kids were talking about how they just heard that cow farts are ruining the atmosphere. And so we start talking about what would like a mosquito fart look like? How small would that be? And it was like hysterical. We couldn't stop laughing. Because of these kids, like they just come, you know, they're unfiltered. They just come up with
absolutely.
things.
Laura, you had something you wanted to share.
I was just going to say, you know, one thing that, I mean, I've brought up the horse, but we really haven't brought up pets. Pets are a huge source of joy and laughter. You know, I have a 15-year-old beagle right now, and she brings us more joy and laughter, even in her kind of, you know, she's losing her eyesight and she doesn't hear very well, and so that alone provides for some entertaining movement from her. And then, you know, my stepmother, she wasn't feeling good. She's actually quite ill, but my dad got her a little puppy. Guys, I've never seen her smile like this before, right? She is just filled with joy every time that little puppy is in her arms. And, you know, that's such an easy thing. If you can bring that joy of a pet into someone's life, and even if they can't have a pet, right? But maybe they can enjoy a visit from a pet, right? Because it really does just lighten up the room, you know, especially if it's a really friendly, loving pet. So I just wanted to bring that up because pets have been such a source of joy and laughter for me for my whole life.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can relate because I have two cats, and so they are an endless supply of fun and mischief, and definitely when, you know, if I'm sitting at the computer too long, my Siamese will come up and say, "Okay, Mom, it's time for some attention," and so I'll either pet him or get. The simplest toy is like I have foam curlers attached to a shoelace.
Yeah.
Forget the expensive cat toys. No, he loves that. That is his perfect toy, and you don't have to spend a fortune. And I think, you know, we're starting to come down to the end of this already. I can't believe it. And I want to share one last video because today is an interesting day. There's a lot to celebrate today, as a matter of fact. But then I want to get back and see if we can kind of share some other thoughts on how we can all make more time for fun. So let me just share with you so you know what today is. Who knew? All these wonderful days, right?
You can find a day, you know, any day has some special or lots of actually special things. Very funny sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go around and see if we can go and spend we've got about 6 or 7 minutes or so here before we finish up. Maybe share take like about another minute or so each of you, and share like your one best nugget or something else maybe related to this topic that we haven't talked about today. And so I'm gonna go ahead and start with Marina, because we haven't heard you chat in a little bit. So I'm going to put you in the spotlight.
Well, thank you for that. And my nugget is this. We focus a lot of our feelings and beliefs really stem from our head, our thoughts, our beliefs. But the heart is actually also called now our little brain. We have approximately 40,000 neurons that go through the heart, and they correspond and they talk to the brain. So when you're in your head, you're dead. So get out of your head, connect with your heart space, truly connect with your heart space, and start allowing these feelings to become the loving thoughts, the good feelings. Work on those, allow those to come forth, and change the direction and go from your heart to the head again, to focus more on things that bring you joy, that bring you love. Put light into it, put good feelings into it. And slowly but surely, you're going to develop this muscle. Like if you go to a gym, and we go to a gym, what do? We develop the muscle. So develop this muscle, and your life will change for sure and for certain, for better things.
I love that. I love that. All right. Dr. Paulette, what's your
wow.
tip?
It is, I love what has been said so far. I think when you were talking, this is off the subject again, but back to pets, I have a 20-pound cat. His name is Bed Boy, and he truly brings joy. I can just look at him and I just smile. I was in the pet store yesterday, and there was the cutest little kitten that wanted to be adopted. And I said, I would love to take you home. But I promised Bad Boy that I would never have another cat in the house as long as he was alive, because he was bombarded a few years ago with several cats at one time. However, if I were to say one thing that I enjoy the most is being creative. I love to make jewelry, and when I sit and make jewelry, I lose all sense of time. So if someone could develop a hobby that they love, not everybody's into hobbies, but I love that the fact of being creative and creating something beautiful and then sharing that beauty with someone else.
I love that. Thank you. All right, Alan, what's your last bit of wisdom here to share?
So I like to advise listeners to wear something fun that might help you bring more fun in your life and also bring fun in other people's lives and connect with them. One idea, I have over 100 ties, bow ties, like this one that looks like a watermelon. And I also have the long ties, a lot of fun ones. And people come up to me and go, "That's a great tie." And so, first of all, I say to them, "Well, would you like a piece of it?" And I make believe I'm cutting it. For $10, I'll give you a swatch. So we can start to laugh. Sometimes I'll have a story of where the tie came from or something special about the tie. So we start connecting and we start laughing. And it's a simple little, thing to bring more joy to the world and to connect with other people. A quick little story. I was in Chicago a couple of weeks ago, and I like to go to museums, and particularly the gift shop, to maybe find a great tie. Museums often have great ties. And I went in the gift shop and I asked the guy behind the counter if they had ties, and he said, "No, but the other shop across the museum does." But in the meantime, I admired his tie. He had a great tie on. And he said, "Let me give you this one." And he started to take it off. And I thought, what an incredible gift of kindness. And it was like the highlight. I didn't take it because it was his tie. But what an incredible story that was, and memory for me. It was like the highlight of my weeks-long trip
I
to
love that.
Chicago of
All
this
right.
most generous person. So another kind of tie connection.
All right, awesome. And then Laura, let's put you back in the spotlight. What's your last bit of wisdom here to share today?
Yeah, just real quick. I would actually say start every day with 5 things you're grateful for and write them down. And if you can tie that gratitude into something fun that you were grateful for, that's awesome as well. But just start with 5 every morning, write it down, 5 things you're grateful, and write it like, say, I am grateful for. I am grateful for, and actually write it out. It makes a difference. I think you'll find if you do that, your spirit will be lifted.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's a great way to start the day. I mean, that's one thing I do. I have a few different practices that I do first thing in the morning that are my non-negotiables. And that is actually I do my gratitude list at night, but because I like to be able to reflect on the day and think of the things that I'm grateful for that happen. But yeah, I actually like the value of doing that first thing in the morning because that also then gets you into that high vibration and so hopefully you'll have an easier time of making things fun. And I know we've had some amazing comments, and I apologize for not being as good about mentioning them, but it's my first time hosting, so I'm doing the best that I can here. But I appreciate all of you, all the wonderful, amazing comments that we've had. In fact, here was one there. I know someone was talking about music, so yeah, I thank you so much, Barb, for putting that in there and how important it is. So yeah, thank you all so much for being with us today. And panel, you rocked, you were amazing, and I knew you were going to be. And I want to thank all of you for watching and for being here. And just hopefully you have some ideas now about how you can make more fun in your life. And so we'll see you next time.
I want to say thank you
Aloha.
for joining us today and welcome you back next Sunday as we once again are joined by a panel of subject matter experts that will explore and focus in on our fabulous lives. Until next Sunday.